Hey everyone, I'm Nick and welcome to the channel. Today we're working on my 2011 Mercedes E550. You might remember that recently I had to deal with an issue with the windshield seal. Water was just pouring in and it was pretty rough. And after that I found an issue with the speakers in the passenger door. They work sometimes, then you open the door and close it and then they stop working, and I'm wondering if it might be related to the leak. So today we're going to find out and try to fix it. Now let me try to show you what's going on. We're going to use the fader and balance to just put everything into this door and see what happens. So right now it's working. Well, it seems like it's working today, but we're still going to investigate and see where a connection might be having an issue and what might be going on so it doesn't happen again. So let's get to it. All right, so to get behind here and take a look at the harnesses, we're going to take this panel off, which is held in with 3 T20 screws here. Then we'll take a little more off to get ready. There's a bulb here. Twist and release. Pop this back. Oh, this is partially behind this panel, which you want to take off too. So now we're going to take this panel off, and then we can remove that. But you can see here, this clips in here and here. So we can release those. This will come out that way. This up here I already took out. Hooks back here, hook in here, and here. And then there's 3 clips here, here, and here. Let's go straight up. Okay, this has like a whole hook back here. And there's a plug over there. So we'll let this hang out for a little bit. Take a look. No obvious connectors here. And this is the connector that goes to the door. That just goes to the main harness. Okay, so I don't think the issue is down here. Yeah, there's no plugs on this side. All right, so that means we can put this back together and we'll have to look in the door. This slides in forwards. On this big circle there. All right, next, you have to open up the door and see what's going on over here. All right, so to get the door panel off, we want to start by removing the trim around the window here. So we're going to start from here where the tweeter is. So pry this off, unhook it there, and carefully work it off. You might want to like pivot up because it hooks in this way. We can unplug the tweeter. And this is clipped in here. There we go, we can work around here. So it hooks around the inside near the window. And then once we get here, just slide it up. And right here we have an expansion clip. So you want to pull that center part out, turn it, push it back in, and then remove the whole clip. There we go. So once you put it in at 90 degrees, they'll release. Then down here there's a cover we want to remove. There's going to be 2 screws in here. See, there's 2 Torx bolts there. And these are T30. Next we have clips all around the edge. We want to unclip, so we can use the trim tool again for that. Just work your way around. Use plastic tools so you don't damage the panel. And try to work slowly instead of just pulling all off. You want to try to keep all the clips intact so you can reuse them. And it's loose here. So it kind of hooks into the top of the door. Lift it over the lock. Slide it up and pull it forward. Now we have to deal with the connections inside. So a couple things. Right here, we have the door handle. And here we have a couple cables. We've got speaker cable down there. A couple cables going to this module. So we'll take care of those too. So this pulls back this way. You can unhook it from the door, pivot that, and slide that out. And then here we have the blue and the red connector right here. And then this speaker, which is hooked in over here and plugged in there. Okay. So let's take a look at the electrical connections we have in here. We've got our harness that comes in from the chassis through here, and it plugs into this module, which has outputs over here, and then to the door card that we just removed. Now if we follow this here, which is audio, you can see that is in the yellow connector. This is the one driver that's in the door panel over here, I think. This brown with a red stripe and red goes to the main woofer. This one right here, which is brown and orange, which go to the tweeter, and this other brown and orange to go to the other driver right here. So these are the audio connections and they run here. So I guess we want to check this plug and make sure the connection is secure, that there's no corrosion on the pins, and hopefully that'll solve our issue, because this is plugged in, looks fine. This here, that looks fine. That looks fine. And if we look on the door card, this is our other driver, and that looks fine. And this is unrelated, so let's check that main plug. So I guess if there's an issue here and this wobbles and the connection's bad, it could cause audio issues. So let's get that out. It seems okay. That also seems okay. Huh, interesting. So what's interesting is there are 6 pins here, so that's a pair for each speaker. So that means that if the whole door is cutting out, it could be the connector or it could be something else. But since what we experienced was the speakers working and then not working, I'm suspecting it could be the connector here. So I guess, we'll plug it back in, make sure it's seated properly, and reconnect things and see how that goes. So for this process, it's the reverse. Just hold this up here. One thing you want to make sure of is that this wire has a little relief, kind of hooks into there. So keep that in mind. Bring this over here. These are color coded and they only fit in one way. And then we just have to connect this back up. So that hooks in here, snaps in, and hook the blue Bowden tube back in. And then we need to make sure this goes over the locking pin right there, but still hook it over the door panel, the door itself. Once that's on, make sure the pins are aligned and work our way around, snapping them back in. That feels good. Now we can put the T30 screws back in. Make sure that this here is actually slotted in properly. You can check the alignment with the square pin here. All right, I guess we'll connect the tweeter and then test things again. We'll just plug it in and then leave it in place, because we'll need to put back the trim around the window before we close everything up. But this should allow us to test it. There we go. That's all working now. All right, so I think the connections are good. Now since everything looks good, let's grab our square trim piece again. That's locked in. Now we can put the trim around the window back, so this slots in down here. It's gonna sit in the seal right here. Let me get this side in first. we go. And this pivots in, so you gotta hook it back over the door and over this. There we go. Right there, looks good. Let's check that the window works. Then we just need to put this piece back in. And we're done. So I've gone for a drive, the passenger door has been opened and closed a couple times, and the sound hasn't cut out, so it looks like something we did must have fixed it. But I don't think it was related to the water leak around the windshield. I guess I was hoping for something a little more dramatic or obvious that caused the issue, but at least we have a better understanding of how the speakers work in the door and where the connections are. It's really interesting that each speaker has its own pair of wires coming from the amplifier. That's pretty nice because I feel like some cars just have one pair and a crossover for the tweeter, if they even have a tweeter. Now I will say that I filmed the footwell disassembly before I filmed the intro, so maybe jiggling some of the wires solved whatever issue was going on, but it was good to get practice and a better understanding of how the sound system works. If you enjoyed this video or it helped you out, don't forget to like it and to hype it. And if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.